All right, we are
What's
live.
up, y'all?
Welcome to another session of Awaken Our Health. And we are here, Nam and myself. I am Julie
Yeah.
Murphy, and you can reach me at juliemurphy.com. I wrote a book called Awaken Your Wealth. And many of you might be freaking out or something of that nature about money and the economy and this and that. Are they opening up, closing it down? Well, you know what? The money is actually the result of everything else. So I've started this awakening series, and Nam is helping us with awakening your health, because we either work things out or we act it out, and we do it through our health, our money, and or our relationships. And
So true, so true. And I am Nam Vazakis, spiritual bodybuilder, and you can reach me at spiritualbodybuilder.com. And I do astrology readings, spiritual health coaching. I have a amazing community that we created that is safe and vulnerable to grow and to face your shit. And I also have a free ebook on my website that you can download. And yeah, we be in here working every week, every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, bam. And it is time to talk about our health and our wealth, energetically, physically, emotionally, of what's going on in your world. Don't forget, you guys, you can ask questions. We'll be happy to answer them and, you know, interact. And because there is a lot of unknown right now. Hello.
Yeah. And if we don't address it in a healthy manner, it's going to affect all the cells in your body. Ooh, and then it ripples effect your money and your relationships and everything else. And so it's super important that we start to learn to be the observer and be in a state of neutrality, even though it's like a zit that's about to pop.
Well, today is actually the day that the zit pops, because we are in the new moon energy right now, and it is highly, highly karmic. What's up, Kellyanne? Highly karmic times.
Yeah.
We have the moon that is in its sign that rules next to the sun, which is our spirit, like collectively, opposed Saturn, which rules this dimension that we all live in. It rules our reality. So that is saying, what have you been doing for the last 2-3 years while Saturn's been in Capricorn? Have you been a good boy or girl, or a bad boy or girl? Depending on which one. Now, good or bad, okay, when it comes to karma, and Julie, let me know how you feel about this. Good and bad is subjective. It's not, I would say it's more about what's been efficient or inefficient in your life for your highest vibrational good.
Do you think it's also like, is it, you know, has it been something that's been for the greater good because we are all one? Or have you kind of been the antithesis of that?
Okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because like I laugh because my kids run around my house these days, and I don't know where they picked up the word karma. Maybe they listened to you and I talking. But they're like, "Oh, you just did something bad. That's karma. You're gonna pay for that." And
I think people's idea of karma is a little skewed because it's been so misused in our culture that, like, you know, karma's a bitch. No, karma is a reality check. And if your reality has been efficient or, you know, for the greater good, then you're going to get some good karma back. And that's a bitch I want to hang out with. You know what I'm saying? But however, if you've been doing some naughty karma, then naughty karma is going to come back and bite you in the ass. So what's up, Antonio?
Yeah, I think what people don't realize is that whatever it is that you're putting out there right now will come back and smack you right in the keister. And
the keister. The fucking keister. I love it. Well,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, this is actually collective for the last couple of years, because Saturn, when it travels through Capricorn, especially, Capricorn is the sign that it rules, right? So that's why we're seeing all this change going on in governments, all this corruption and pollution that's been going on in the psychic realm, is coming out to be purified, because that's the collective karma, right?
Well, I can certainly tell you the state of Illinois has got that coming out. We have Mike Madigan, he's 78 years old. He's pretty much the Speaker of the House for the last 30 years or so in Illinois.
Oh, really?
And corrupt beyond corrupt. Like, if you knew Madigan and his cronies, you got the jobs, you got the pensions, you got everything. Yeah, and now,
Boys Club.
companies like Commonwealth Edison, Walgreens are all whistleblowing on him right now.
Really?
They're all whistleblowing him.
Okay.
And so exactly what you just said, like there are prime examples right here in the state of Illinois, how that is exactly blowing up. One of the most fiscally dysfunctional states in the United States.
Wow.
And it's all blowing up right now.
Speaking of which,
I can't wait for it all to be exposed because
speaking of which,
it's terrible, it's toxic, and it's generational. Like it's really hurt this state in a big way. And it's time for that to heal.
And that's going on everywhere at every level. I mean, it's a complete, it's like at another dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, there is so much karmic cleanup going on. There's so much stuff that is happening behind the scenes that, like, you know, it's going to come up everywhere, whether you like it or not. And we're seeing, like, even the stuff that's still like moving forward, like this whole ridiculous mask thing, like even that is starting to, you know, like that's starting to get called out, where if so many people weren't resisting it, then it'd probably be going much smoother. But people are not standing for it, which is a plus, but it's gonna be an ugly battle for a while. I just saw this post literally before we got on this call. I literally saw this post that showed in South Korea there was I don't know how much, but there was a lot of these pills that were confiscated that had contents of dried baby flesh in pill form. Like, ew. What the fuck? So this whole, like, I think in the next couple months, we're really going to see this whole, like, you know, child sex trafficking stuff, this like a whole pedophilia thing really start to come out when people are going to start getting arrested and going to prison for it. It's going to get nasty.
One of the things that I think is super important, because I do believe the next 6 months, there is going to be a lot of unpacking of crazy stuff that has been happening around the world.
Yeah.
And you know, the astrological charts show that. But I think one of the things that's really important for us to recognize is the fact that regardless of all that stuff going on outside of ourselves, it's going to keep getting crazy until we all choose to solve our lives from the inside.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Outside. So I think it's super important for all of us. Like, do you let the universe figure out the rest? Do you let the universe figure out the rest?
Yeah.
Because when you shift something, so as an example, when I was doing all of my healing work, leading up to my divorce and then after my divorce, one of the things that I learned in working with one of my mentors, 𝘾𝐻�10𝙪, he said to me, the day that I finally got divorced, he said, congratulations, because you have now opened up the healing space for all those women who are not in right relationship in their relationships, because you had the courage to shift it, because we're all vibrationally connected.
Yeah.
That by me shifting it, it opened up more of a space for more women to shift it. And that actually became my reality afterwards. I had so many women who were coming to me and going, I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know how to stand up for myself. I don't know how to, but I was openly talking about everything. And so it healed, not only consciously of other people coming to me, but also I always say that we live in like an energetic grid. And if a part of the grid is down, the grid's down.
Right.
And so if you're playing a low vibrational game, you're going to get sick. Everyone you know is going to get sick. Like it's like that whole thing of misery loves company.
Yeah, and there's sort of two very distinct directions that's going right now. A good example, and I'm sure you saw this on my daily energy report, but one of my dear friends a few days ago was murdered. She didn't just die; she was murdered. So what I found out, and I had met up with her about a little over a week ago, because she I hadn't seen her in like 6 months. She had cancer in her pituitary gland. And she had fought it before, it went away, and I was working with her. While I was working with her, it was gone, and she was losing weight and she was getting healthy. Then she disappeared for like 6 months, and she had a lot of stuff going on. She was very psychic. She was very, very, very gifted young woman.
Pituitary gland.
Right. But apparently, you know, and she came to me trying to, you know, wanting to get on a detox and get back on a nutrition and fitness plan, and, you know, and like do some healing work. And we were going to get to it. And then come to find out, I guess she was dating this guy that was abusing her. And one day, I texted her to see how she was doing. She didn't respond. And then I saw on my friend's Instagram page just the next day that she was dead. Her boyfriend beat her to death. And I'm blown away how sad it is, but it's a real testament to how real this karma is right now, because she, as much as intention she had to be a good woman and to do the work, she kept avoiding the work. Every time that she would make some progress, she would shut it down because she was afraid of her gift. She had such a powerful gift. She was super psychic, but she wouldn't do it. She allowed her fear to take over.
So one of the things that brings up for me is the fact that, and I've witnessed this myself, as I continue to be a brighter light in the world.
Yeah.
I said the other day, I had something come at me, and I go, I must be really close to being one of the biggest, brightest lights around the world, because this shit's coming at me like nobody's business.
Right.
And it's not to mean that you're not to go and be a bright light, but it's about like, yeah, recognize your patterns and recognize where you feel safe. You know, so clearly she probably didn't feel safe in many aspects of her life, right? And so, you know, Deepak Chopra always taught me that a cancer cell develops because that cell has lost its sense of purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I have learned through the years, when people actually develop cancer, the question is where the cancer shows up. There's a different meaning behind that. If you look at Louise Hay's work, or if you look at Deepak's work and stuff like that. And so I always ask people when they have cancer, I always say, well, if you're developing cancer and you have it, where have you lost your sense of purpose? And how do you realign with your soul's purpose? And how do you, you know, that's part of why I've created, you know, I've started this other one where it's Awakening Your Spirit, which will launch next week. So that people can come and join to do the energy work to raise your vibration and get more in alignment with your soul. I'm bringing a shaman in to actually do this energy work with people, because sometimes we don't know how to get out of our own way. And sometimes it's just about a matter of holding the space, you know, for people, you know, to do that when you're the bright light, you know, because there is going to be all this darkness. There is, I mean, we're going to see a lot of chaos in the next 6 months.
Yes, we are.
You know, and that's why you have to do whatever you need to do to be happy and healthy and align with that. And be careful to not hook to all this negative story stuff.
Right. So, and a big part of that process right now, because the universe is getting louder and louder and stronger these messages, saying, look, you need to wake up. You need to protect yourself. You need to be strong in your heart, in your mind. So we're going to throw more shit at you to make it more difficult for you so that you can become more of a master of yourself. Now, there's two ways you can look at that. You can look at it as being like, wow, fuck, this sucks. Like, life's getting depressing and I have anxiety. And okay, yes, everybody's going to be feeling those things to a certain extent. But when you take the step back and you say, okay, I got to make a change. I need to do something for me and take care of myself so that I don't allow these energies to take over my life. What can I do? Who can I be around? And when you shift your mind like that, you will bring in the people, the situations, and the things needed to teach you those tricks. And that is where like these soul groups and soul families are coming in. That's why I created the opportunity community, right? So that we can have a space like that. But we have to work on protecting ourselves and establishing those healthy boundaries so that we don't let these nasty energies into our heart, because as they come in, they're going to be getting stronger and stronger. These psychic energies are, you know, we're becoming more aware of it, whether we want to or not. Our consciousness is expanding. That's part of the collective consciousness upgrade.
Well, and I think that's where we, you know, for a couple of years now, and you and I have both done sessions with Elliot Jackson, because he channels Source.
Oh, right? Yeah, dude.
And I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially for those of us who tend to be doers, like it's like checking the boxes, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things a couple of years ago that he was saying was, you know, eat smoothies, exercise, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, it's the same song and dance I've always heard. Get your exercise, alkaline your body, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, now in hindsight, yeah, that certainly was a piece of it, but it was like, no, build your immune system, because when this stuff hits, you don't want it to hit if your immune system's not good.
100%.
And if I think about that from a pandemic standpoint, I'm like going, wow, I have a lot of people screaming about masks and they're angry about a whole lot of stuff. I'm going, is any of that building your immune system? Any of it? And I'm not saying wear one, don't wear one, whatever. Like, I've read the research, I get it. But what I'm saying is, do what's going to keep you personally healthy. Like, anger and all those vibrations and emotions at that level are only going to stress you out and decrease your immune system. That's why I'm really perplexed about so much of the protesting too. Like right here in Chicago, they like were tearing down the Columbus statue. I'm like, what did Christopher Columbus do to you? Like, I'm just like going, but what I'm sitting here going, wow, look at all those really angry people, like angry people.
Oh, there's so much anger out there.
You're killing your immune system. So I think it's so important to like.
And Mars in Aries for the next 6 months, it's gonna be bringing that heat, that anger, that frustration, that irritability to a whole. It's gonna be pinging like crazy, especially between September and November. Man, it's gonna be like red hot, boiling.
Yeah, and so I think this is just about like giving people information so that when these things unpack and when they unfold, right now you can be doing the things to make yourself healthier. Like, you know, I'm sitting here right now going, okay, I'm gonna try it again, because I told you last week I tried to do vegetables and water for 3 days in a row. I got to almost a full 2 days, and then dinner time on the second day I stopped. So I'm starting it again. Did vegetables all day long today.
There you go.
You know, so Thursday that's my goal. I'm going to eat vegetables and water between now, because I just want to like cleanse the system and, you know, stay healthy.
Cleansing, detoxing, quiet time, nature, grounding, all those things are super important right now.
Yeah. And, and getting fresh air in your lungs.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah. I just think that there's a piece of that that's so important that,
you know what I just noticed today? I mean, last night I was watching one of the superhero movies, and have you noticed in all the superhero movies they're all wearing masks while they're fighting and stuff? I don't know why I just put that two and two together, or why I found that significant, but it's like I feel like it's some kind of subliminal, like, you know, even like Mortal Kombat, you know, like all like the coolest fucking people, like they all wore masks.
Wow.
Just an interesting observation.
So you could be a superhero if you're wearing a mask.
Apparently, yeah. That's gotta be. They gotta have some kind of subliminal.
Well, you know what the thing is let's have fun with this all. Why not act like a superhero? Who cares? Like, have fun with it. Why do we think this is all daunting? Why do we think it's all? Everyone's always like, why are you always so damn happy? I'm like, why not? You know, like I really just don't get it. Like, I could certainly sit around and look at everything as a shit sandwich. I absolutely could do that, because I got all kinds of things going on. But you know what? I choose not to.
Well, that's huge. And
have fun with it. Like, we gotta giggle, we gotta laugh, we gotta like. I always say that we do, and so whatever's gonna do that, because that boosts your immune system.
Right.
You know, and this is not going to end overnight. It's not. And so you have to do the things that are going to create sustainability for yourself. Yeah,
so true.
You know? So what's the hot buttons now with this new moon? I keep hearing about the new moon.
Yeah. What's up, Kelly? Thank you for jumping on. This new moon is the second one that's in Cancer, which is a big deal, because normally you don't have two new moons in the same sign. The last one was at 0 degrees, which is a master number. This one is at 28 degrees, which is also a master number. So we're really like, this is a really major new start, new beginning when it comes to the energy of Cancer, and also for calling out the energies of Capricorn. Yeah. So
which means what?
Cancer represents our emotional body. the home, the family, what our desires, what we really want to, who we really want to be, what we really want to feel. You know, like, do we really want to be in love, or do we want to be single, or like being honest with ourselves about our true desires, and not settling and not lying to ourselves. And if we have been lying to ourselves, that shit's going to come up to the surface.
I don't think people even know that they've been lying to themselves, because they've been making decisions from their ego mind, and not making decisions from their heart. And
that is exactly the awareness that's coming up for this new moon.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very potent for the next 4 weeks. That's about how long of energy that lasts. However, because we had a solar eclipse in the eclipse season at the 0 degrees of Cancer, that makes the energy sort of like linger more for like 6 months as opposed to 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. So this next 6 months is it's going to be a lot of humble pie. It's going to be a lot of real like check yourself before you wreck yourself kind of, you know, energy. And especially because this one is opposed Saturn. Saturn is karma. It's the lord of karma. It's a lord of the reality check. So this is going to be like oh, is that what you really want? Where do you really want to go? What are your plans? What are your goals? Where are you going to be going? And if you're going in a direction that is other than what your soul really wants, then there's going to be an experience that comes up is going to make things 10 times fucking harder than what it would have been otherwise.
So you shift.
So you
well, and that's where I always talk about that. You kind of said it earlier. I wrote in my first book, I always say that the 2x4 keeps cracking you and hitting you harder across the head until you finally shift.
Right now, but here's the difficulty with that scenario, at least for the people that have not been doing the work. A lot of people are going to be losing their fucking minds because they're going to feel attacked by the universe. The victim mentality is at an all-time high, right? So all this wounded child, all this victim, all this like self-sabotaging energy is being brought to the surface in the collective. Ugh. And then the deep state, or whoever the powers that be that are using this to their advantage, is creating scenarios to build and to use those energies against the light. So this is where the polarity of this, you know, spiritual warfare is really going on. And this is where we have to really do our work. So this is requiring us to really, because the more of us that do the work, we influence the collective unconscious, right?
Right.
So this is where a lot of acceptance about the way things are, a lot of processing our own triggers at a whole different level, and really like saying goodbye to things that we really have no control over or no ability to influence, right? And then, you know, and then like embracing like the ex-husband. Yes, exactly. You know, like
just let it all go and send them with
like, okay, right? You do you. I'm gonna let Saturn take care of that, and we're just gonna keep going 1 foot in front of the other.
Yeah, and you know what? I know for at least like a lot of the chicks out there, us ladies in the house, we like to go try to fix it. Right? And it drives you, Ben, crazy because we like try to fix it all. Nothing needs to be fixed, ladies.
Yeah, right.
Nothing needs to be fixed. It's in the perfect form it's supposed to be in.
Right.
And just stay in your lane. Stop trying to influence and fix, because everything is perfect in the way that it is and who these people are. If you're trying to fix somebody else, that means you're in the wrong spot.
But how do you know what your lane is when you're in the unknown and don't even know where you're going? Oh, Kelly said hi, Julie.
Hey.
Right. So we're at the same time, we're also on another level. We're in this unknown space of transformation and change. So we're sort of embracing this unknown, almost death quality like energy. And it's taking a lot of courage and strength for us to do that while being able to stay in our lane. It's like you're trying to drive blindfolded, you know, on a cloud.
Well, it's easy, my friend. So the problem is that so many people have lost trust in faith. And I'm not talking about religion. Right. I'm talking about just understanding that there is a soul's path that you signed up for, and just trust that everything will be supplied to you. And I got to tell you, like the other day, I was sitting there and I sat there going, all right, I'm done. Like, just fix this and have it show up. Do you know this past weekend, it showed up for me in spades. It was beautiful.
Oh, shit.
It was wonderful. It was amazing. But I finally had to get to a place where I was just like, yeah, I'm done. Like you said, the death patterns. It's like, I'm done with my old patterning. I'm done with how I've interfaced the world. I am ready for everything to show up and everything my heart's desired has ever wanted.
Amen.
And it did. This weekend was fantastic.
That's
and
awesome.
while other people are tearing down Columbus statues, you know, and I'm like sitting here going, well, I'm kind of on cloud 9. I feel fantastic, you know, and it's because I finally let go of the control, finally decided to just go, okay, it's all perfect. And just know that whatever way that it's unpacking, that it's meant to be that. And I trust me, ladies, I am the A-type personality. I'm a go-getter. I was a doer, blah, blah, blah. And I also had C-sections like all my other A-type personality ladies out there, you know, because we wanted to control the whole birthing process of having our babies. And it's like, no, let your body do what it's supposed to do. Let your life unfold the way it's meant to unfold, and have faith and have trust. And I don't mean to sound like a preacher, but we just
preach, baby, preach. Get it out there.
We seriously just create suffering cycles because it's what we know. Right. But we don't have to do that anymore. So it's like when you go to get that itch to fix it, or if you get that itch to point out somebody else's thing, like blame or judge or whatever, just go, oh yeah, I don't need to project my stuff onto you. I'll take ownership for it. And I'm about to go blame and be like, take those words back, because that's just you. Yeah, like, yeah, exactly.
Bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's so important, because you gotta be willing to look in the mirror and look at your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because for the least reason of the fact that if you don't, disease will develop in your body.
And especially right now, it'll happen fast. Very fast.
Have you noticed anyone in your life lately where their diseases are ramping up in speed?
Yeah. Either they're ramping up in speed with that, or everybody right now has life coming at them super, super, super fast.
Right.
But I mean, pretty much everybody that I surround myself with, everybody's, you know, growing and learning. I mean, I don't really surround myself with people anymore that are not, but I do know a few people that are just really digging in like a tick into their bad habits. And it's really painful
for their limitations.
It is. And, you know, especially when it's people that you love, like your family, when they're doing that.
So hard to watch.
It's like, you just want to fucking shake them, but you know that they're on their journey, they're on their path. And like, the only thing you can do is be here, hold space. And if they change their mind, then okay, come on, let's go on this journey. But you have to be willing to do the work. You have to at least acknowledge that there is work to do. I mean, if there was no work to do, then we wouldn't be here. We would be in the next realm, right?
Right.
So there is work to do. And, you know, honestly, I think that we also have to really accept and understand that a lot of people right now, a lot of souls are agreeing to leave. A lot of souls just don't, and it's that space unfortunate. Too. Yeah, it's really, really sad, but that's where we're at right now.
Totally agree. And to me, it's about just allowing them to leave with honor and respect. And, you know, people are like, well, why aren't you telling them this and that and then? I'm going, they're a big boy. I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, you know? Right.
And 7 love and light. But one of the other things I've learned along my journey is that you really don't really give people advice who aren't really soliciting it.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, like don't offer a solution if they're not asking for one, really.
Because they're not going to hear you.
No, they're not.
And then that just creates your suffering pattern.
Right, because then they actually may hold it against you. Like you try to give them, you know, like suggestions or give them help, and they'll be like, oh, well, why are you fucking trying to help me out? I don't need help. I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. I get it all figured out. Fuck you. Blah, 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 blah. And it all just turns into puke and vomit. And, you know, we don't need any of that.
What do you say? Bucket in the chuck it bucket?
Chuck it in the fucking bucket.
Chuck it in the
bucket. Or fuck it in the chuck it fuck. Yeah, no, that doesn't really work very well.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. Speaking of that, you want to share some of the ceremony stuff that you've been helping people, like that people that you know of to clear stuff?
Sure, why not? As far as my own experience?
Or just share the things that are out there and people like as an example, like ayahuasca is now legal in Illinois, and that was something that wasn't legal.
I didn't know that.
And that's used by a lot of indigenous tribes to help people move through their stuff and their healing ceremonies. And
well, there's okay, so ayahuasca is legal in Illinois. I did not know that, and that's exciting because I think I know that they legalized DMT in a couple counties in California and in Denver, Colorado. Which Denver, Colorado is confusing because they also passed a mandatory vaccination law, which I'm sure is going to get turned around. But that's very, very strange.
How about two different sides of the pendulum?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, there are so many natural healing remedies out there. In fact, I know a few people that are using NAD IV infusions to get rid of COVID. So
what is that?
NAD is nicotinamide adenosine diphosphate. It's the precursor to ATP. ATP is the cellular energy fuel in the body. That's what the body uses and burns for fuel. It's what makes the mitochondria do its thing. And mitochondria is our fuel source. Now, pretty much any like disorder or dis-ease in the body, autoimmune disease, it really comes down to mitochondrial dysfunction, right? Our mitochondria is the energy bank of our cells,
right?
Especially in our brain. So when that starts to not work properly, then and as we age, it declines in production as well. So when we get an infusion of that, it's like recharging the battery of life, right? But what it also does is it purges out what's called senescent cells. Now, when we have a virus or a bacterial infection of some kind, that shifts the pH, which incapacitates the cell's ability to generate energy. Okay, follow me on this. So when it incapacitates it, it creates what's called a senescent cell. A senescent cell is basically a cell that cannot function at its 100% capacity. Right, so maybe part of like the immune system part of it is not working, or the nucleus is not the energetic convergence. What's going in and out of the cell, it's not firing in all cylinders. It's not working properly. So when that happens, it actually starts to create malfunctioning interactions or communication between different parts of the body. Hence, autoimmune disease. Right? Autoimmune disease is when the immune system is talking different languages, doesn't know how to speak to each other, and then that sends signals to the brain, and the brain gets confused, so now it's pumping out inefficient hormones, and it just has a ripple effect everywhere. So what this does, it flushes out these senescent cells, and it hyper powers the cells that are working properly and makes them work even better.
What is it called again?
NAD.
NAD.
Yes. So in fact, it's been a really common or an evolving therapy for like opioid addiction, right? Because the opioid receptors, combo is also another excellent tool for opioid addiction, which opioid addiction is a huge problem in the United States. So so for opioid addicts, that desensitizes the cells, similar to how like diabetics create diabetes. So but this affects the pain receptors in the body. So what this does is it actually alters the pH of the cell, which sort of pushes out the pH modifying factor of the opioid. So when it comes down to it, everything has to do with pH, right?
So alkaline or acidic?
Well, every cell in itself has its own pH, right? So the NAD comes and infuses it with energy to shift the pH. So when we activate all our mitochondria, that means our brain can sleep better because it has the energy to go into deep sleep mode. All right. It activates the relaxation response. It activates the arousal response. It activates the hormone response, everything in the body and the mind. So whenever we on, thank you for somebody said I'm on fire tonight. Yeah, spitting that knowledge, baby. Boom.
I just tend to bring that out in you.
Hey, you know. Well, I'll tell you what, for the last like 4 months, I've been doing an NAD IV infusion about once a month, and I feel fucking great. So
that's awesome.
right, and it keeps me looking young, you know, vibrant, fresh. I feel good in the gym. I'm finally like
40s?
like I had a serious sleep issue. Like my brain wasn't getting into deep sleep mode for like 2.5 years. It was really fucking with me big time. So finally now, like, you know, I'm able to get into deep sleep, and I've noticed I have a Aura ring that I wear when I go to sleep, and I measured my brain waves, and it made such a big difference. Like between that, and I had to get some CFR done too, some craniofacial release. It's when they shove a balloon up your nasal cavity and they crack it open, and it presses on your sphenoid bone, which balances. It's like a chiropractic adjustment in all your cranial bones, all your 22 cranial bones, and it relieves all the stress and the pressure. When we're under chronic stress, it actually pulls the fascia in our skull in different directions, and it compresses the ligaments in between the bones.
Is that why people go bald?
That's part of the reason, actually, but really, going bald is actually just from mental, like controlled dynamics in the brain. It actually creates stress in the hair follicle, and when you have chronic stress in the hair follicle, it literally cuts off the enzymatic conversion process, and it can't promote its function anymore. It's sort of like if you kept your arm squeezed all the time, right? When your arm is squeezed, you can't bring it out, because, you know, if I try to, I'll have to extend the muscle contraction. It's like keeping it contracted the whole time.
Right. Got it.
Right. Yep. And we don't want that. No, we have to relax every now and then. So, yeah, NAD is my new favorite thing, for sure. And it's shown so much amazing progress. The first I heard of it actually was in Dave Asprey's book, Superhuman. So I definitely highly recommend that book. Superhuman by Dave.
Oh, I think we froze over there, Mr. Nam.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you are frozen. But my Instagram is still going.
Yeah, I hear you now. You're not moving, but I hear you.
Okay, beautiful.
There you go.
So then, of course, we have 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨, which is a shamanic medicine, which is incredibly intense, but it's absolutely an amazing way to detoxify the physical body. And it's only so 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨 is a frog poison medicine, basically, and this frog is the only animal in the animal kingdom that does not contain the vibration of fear. So it basically acts as a magnet to all the fear-based energy in our body, and it magnetizes like a magnet, and then you puke it out. Or you puke it or shit it out. And it also is good for getting rid of heavy metals and parasites. So it really cleans out your gut really well. But it's very intense. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a warrior medicine for sure, but you do that, man, and you're going to be feeling very...
Didn't you tell me one time that one session of 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨 is like doing detox for the liver, the same as like a 6-month celery cleanse?
I did not say that. The closest thing to that I said was doing one night of ayahuasca.
Maybe it was Sarah that said that. I don't know.
Maybe, but I do know that one night of ayahuasca is the equivalent to about 20 years of psychotherapy.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So, you know, man, I've learned so much. I've learned more from ayahuasca and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨 than I have from any of the school or military experience or anything combined. Of course, learning from those experiences sort of like, you know, quadrupled up on itself.
Well, what's amazing to me is that all these indigenous tribes from around the world, and, you know, Gregg Braden's work is based on a lot of that. And I've read a lot of his work through the years of like all these ancient traditions that have been done for 5,000 years are now resurfacing and coming up to the Western world, because a lot of what we've been doing hasn't been working. And these indigenous tribes have passed it down from generation to generation to generation. Yeah. And they work extremely well.
100%. And
that's why Gwyneth Paltrow is now in her Goop series.
Yeah. So
she's talking all about this stuff.
I know. I love it. She actually did you see the one on mushrooms?
I did.
Yeah. So actually, somebody just asked me about mushrooms. So mushrooms is another excellent medicine that can be used to expand the consciousness and to open your mind and to face those deep down subconscious patterns. Mushrooms are actually, they've already legalized it, I think, in Colorado.
Oregon as well.
Okay, so I know that they're trying to legalize it in other states too, and I think that's going to come along. They've already made they made ketamine a medication for drug resistant depression. They made like a nasal.
That's what they're saying. A lot of those treatments that were done in the 50s and the 60s that then considered illegal are now all
becoming legal.
Because they're realizing that there really is some medicinal reasons.
There's a ton of medicinal reasons for it. And that's why, like, you can't have a class. It's actually illegal for DMT to be classified as a Schedule 1 narcotic. Because according to a Schedule 1 narcotic, which I believe it is, that has to have no medicinal purpose whatsoever. And there is freaking, thanks to MAPS, the multidisciplinary something psychedelics. There's some non-profit.
You're out of my realm, my friend.
There's some nonprofit organization that does a ton of research on psychedelics for therapy use, right? I
think so many of this is rising because everybody's having to face their stuff, and everything that we've traditionally done is just, it's not working in so many aspects. So people are looking for.
If anything, people are starting to realize how much destruction that is causing. I mean, I can't even tell you, like I know just from my experience, like when I was in the military, getting out of the military, I was in a specialized unit, because I got out of the military with a disability. And when I was going through that, like I had friends that were on 15, 20 different medications from like 4 or 5 different doctors. And these doctors did not communicate. I had one friend that died in his sleep from hepatotoxicity. His liver failed on him from taking prescribed medication from the military. That was when I really made it my purpose to figure out the mind and consciousness, to understand, because, and also, my grandfather died of prostate cancer. And, I remember I was in basic training when he died, and like he had this one supplement that came from Canada for like 4 months that shrunk the tumor, and he was doing better. Then they discontinued it, and then his only option, this is a long time ago too, so his only option, he thought, was chemotherapy, and the chemotherapy just slowly killed him. And it was heartbreaking to see, so seeing all that and understanding all that, like, I think that has really been my driving force, and my own experience with PTSD and anxiety and depression and whatnot. It's driven me to really go above and beyond, like the Call of Duty, to really figure out these alternative like methods of healing. And it is real. Like, I've met so many people that have beat cancer naturally. I know people that, like David Palma, the people that he works with down in Peru, they actually they get rid of AIDS and diabetes and autoimmune disease and all kinds of issues, because when it comes down to it, it's an incongruence in your energy. The energies aren't speaking, and the worse it gets, the more separated you get, the worse it gets, and then you die. Right. And that's really at the very core of what's going on. So all we have to do is face it. And that might sound a little oversimplified, but that is really what it comes down to. And if you can stay focused on that, then you seek out. You have to go out into the unknown and the things that the mainstream people don't understand or don't know. Like, when I started studying nutritional microscopy, I came to realize that if you learn how to read the different systems of the body and look at the blood, like the blood will tell a story. I can like read blood like I can really read an astrology chart and tell you what's going on in your body.
When you go on dates? Hey, let me read your blood. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I do have an Aquarius moon, so I'm a little weird like that. But what I do kind of naturally do is, hey, let me look at your chart. I have to look at their chart. Like, okay, where's your black moon, Lilith? Okay, that's going to tell me are we going to have good sex or not.
Oh, geez. Right. Oh, good to know.
Hey, I want to know. Right?
Well, just get to the punch, right? Like, just get to whatever it is that you want to find out.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. So you've got to follow your own internal guidance. If you're hesitant to do something, well, that's your heart and your body intelligence that we have ignored for years.
So true.
Like, we've thought that there are answers outside of ourselves that were better and knew better than our own internal guidance.
So now here's the trick that I see with a lot of people, and I experienced it for a while myself, is that, okay, people will be like, all right, I'm facing myself, I'm following my intuition, but how do I differentiate between my fear and my intuition?
So what do you say?
I say, silence your mind. You have to learn the process of what your fear is trying to teach you. So say, for example, that you keep connecting to someone that, or people that hurt you, right? And you're like, well, I'm just going to shut down. I don't want to, be hurt anymore. I don't like, why does this keep happening? Right? Well, you are the, what's going on, Steve? You are the common denominator. So right. Look at every step and go, hey, what do you feel? Do you feel that like, do you get taken over by your emotions? Do you feel like, do you start to like carelessly spend money when you're usually spending money strictly? Do you start to like decide that you're going to like be this other person when normally do you try to hold a fart in when you normally would just let it go? Like even little things like that, I'm telling you, it all makes sense. Okay. I mean, certain people I'm around, yeah, I try to hold it in. I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't want to be rude. And then after you're done, you're just like, oh my God. Okay. But then sometimes you're just going to be, okay, this hurts too much. I gotta just let it squeeze out slowly, and then you're all awkward and you're just going to like put a butt cheek up and like while you're driving. And that's just not fun.
No.
Man, I'm getting all kinds of wild today. It's great.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, right.
I'll be sure to stand walking in front of you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't want to get no like smoke screen or anything.
Well, but here again, going back to the giggle, right? Like we have to laugh, we have to giggle, we have to like know that there can be another way. Like we've really got to just take care of ourselves, because then again, the universe will take care of everything else. And, and I hope what you and I are providing to people is that they can find that there's resources and there's options and there's things out there, because you and I have experienced a ton of this stuff between the two of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
somebody just said, or you pull your butt apart and try not to squelch the sound. I think that's making it a little too obvious, but like I haven't pulled my butt cheeks apart, but I guess that's.
I suppose you could.
Good
wow.
one, Steve. That was great.
That's crazy.
Right?
Oh my
God.
Yeah,
so when you're facing that fear, it's about surrender, right? Having faith and trust. We have to learn to trust our heart. And the reason why we have that incongruence is because we've been learning to follow our mind as opposed to listening to our heart. So that takes time to open up, and that takes vulnerability, and that vulnerability is scary. So you got to follow the vulnerability, and you got to follow and step into that and learn how to get comfortable in that discomfort or live in that uncomfortable place, so that, because that's where the growth happens. And it can be confusing for a while. And that's why like having a coach or a community where we call each other out, my opportunity community, that's exactly what we do. Like, bro, like I've made it my life purpose to call people out in a loving way. And when people are ready to hear it, they really appreciate it and respect it. People are not ready to hear it. They're not really doing the work. That's where you're going to look at yourself and be like, sorry, dude. Like this.
I have so many people all the time tell me, they're like going, well, I knew if I just reached out to you, then, you'd say it's okay for me to do it. I'm going, people constantly come to me for permission to live the life they already have decided they want to live. Right. But there's all these naysayers out there that will tell them why they can't or why they shouldn't and all that other stuff. And I'm just always like, yeah, no, you can like do whatever it is that you want to do. And they're like, we knew you'd understand. And I'm like, yeah. But it's really just them wanting to do it themselves,
Yeah, you have to be ready for it.
You do, and love yourself enough to make it happen, because 100%. Again, and I'll say it again, or else disease is created in your body.
Yeah.
Because get busy living or get busy dying.
That's pretty much what's going on right now. Like,
yeah,
and it's right now.
Like in spades.
Yeah.
It really is.
100%.
And it's time for everyone to find this new healthy space.
It most definitely is. So you got to plug in.
And the crazy is going to keep coming, and you just got to let it unfold, and you just got to let it go where it needs
And
to
it's
go.
it's that control dynamic that we're so used to that will get in the way, because like even me, I'll notice that I'm surrendered, I'm going good, I'm like walking down the street, and I start getting some momentum, it starts picking up. I'm like, oh shit, now I got to start to control it. Now I got to see where it's going and lead it. And then that's when things start to get fucking complicated. I'm like, and then that's when I got to like really reel it in and take a step back and be like, okay, stop, collaborate, listen. And just,
isn't that a song? Stop, collaborate, and listen.
Vanilla Ice, baby. That's me showing my age right there.
Oh yeah. Well, so one of the things that I want to make sure that people know is that your free ebook, actually, if you have physical ailments and you're not really sure how to fix them and how it's related and how it correlates through the body, you know, I would highly recommend somebody get that ebook, because even for me, like it helped me, and I've done a lot of this work to understand, like, I'm having these physical issues, like where does it systemically come from? Where does it, and then now what do I do about it? You know, because that's the key, you know, and you know, our bodies give us all the signs. The challenge is that we're not listening. Right. You know, and your book, your ebook really actually helps people to tune in a little bit more of how to listen better. And so I would highly recommend anyone who's listening to download that and read it, because it's a short read. It's not daunting. Besides, we're stuck doing things that we have, you know, read a book, help yourself grow, get there, you know, super important.
I agree.
Stuff. Yeah. Well, I am super excited that, you know, we were able to give some more health and wealth tips today. And so how can people find you? Tell them again.
People can go to my website, spiritualbodybuilder.com, or go on to my Instagram, spiritual_bodybuilder, and click on the link in the bio. And get my book is free. So download it for free on my website. Join the opportunity community and get some spiritual health coaching or an astrology reading. And a lot of people have been asking me what my spiritual health coaching covers, and literally everything that we talk about. Whatever it is that you need in your life, I tune into your energy, and then we work it out. Usually I'll look at your chart and kind of see where you're at and help you understand what's going on, whether it be nutrition, detox, you know, life purpose, you know, whatever you have going on. So that's me. What about you, Julie?
Yeah. And on the wealth side, it's the same thing. You know, we take a similar approach. You do it from the health perspective, and I do it from the money perspective. I look at what's going on. You know, you can come to julieMurphy.com, but I look at what's going on in your personal life and your family life and your work life, because the money is really just the result of those other things. And so as I dig into those other areas from like a holistic viewpoint, you know, I can see where people's gaps are. And by all means, you know, I have a whole toolbox on my website to help people with different resources. And, you know, I have this awakening series that, you know, we've got our Awaken Your Health on Monday nights. And then I have Awaken Your Relationships on Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Central. And starting next week on Tuesday mornings, 8 a.m. Central, we're going to start awakening your spirit and do some energy sessions.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to offer the first one for free. So if anyone wants to come on next week.
Okay, beautiful. And real quick too, I'm also coming out with an astrology course as well. That'll be the release date is to be determined, but it'll be very soon. And I'll be letting you guys know about that. Thank you for reminding me, Kelly. I appreciate you.
Yeah, as well. And it's the time for coursework, because I think we're going to have some time for people to do that, because it's funny, we have the same timing on our coursework coming up.
Yeah, right.
Mine will be coming out.
Lines up with astrology.
Beautiful stuff. All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Yes. Thank you guys. Love you.
Namaste.